Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crazy Girl Podcast. I am your host, Jordan Anderson, and today we're going to be starting a brand new podcast because that is just how I feel. One of the main reasons why I wanted to start a podcast is because I'm turning 22 in April 1st, actually, and I am just feeling very lost in general. Being in your 20s is like so confusing and it's such a weird time of life in general. So I just really wanted to create something that feels inviting and a safe space and peaceful. Something also that I feel very inclined and motivated to do at the moment. So I wanted to just kind of give a helping hand out to people who might need it because I know right now in my life that this is a very special thing that I feel like we could all benefit from. And I feel like I'm a person that can really give some good advice or, I don't know, just be a supportive individual for anybody else who's in their 20s, especially women. I feel like we all just really need to rely on each other. And yeah, I am literally just figuring out life just like you all. And when I turned 21 last year, I feel like I had a crisis. Like I literally felt like my life was over. I was old. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with my life. And it really made me scared. Like it really freaked me out because I wasn't one of those people that went into college or went into my 20s knowing what I wanted to do. I knew a lot of people growing up that had like an idea of exactly who they wanted to be, exactly what they wanted their, employee life to be, their career to be. And I just had no kind of like ambition for anything. Like I just had no idea of what I wanted to really put all of my focus and energy into. I grew up doing arts my whole life. So I did like dance, theater, acting, whatever, you name it. And with that, I was just a very artistic, creative individual. I went to high school for dance. I took it really seriously senior year. And then all of a sudden, I go to college and it's like, okay, all that's over now. Now you have to figure out your life and, study and do school 24/7. Obviously that's like great for some people, and some people are like scholarly and love to be educated and love education and blah blah blah. Now, I wasn't bad at school really ever, but I never found myself being fulfilled by like education. And I was always creative and I always wanted to be super artistic. And that's where I think I got so depressed. I was so depressed in freshman year of college because going from dancing and doing artsy, creative tasks and stuff my whole life, literally 15 years of my life, and then, growing up around that, growing up like with people, prioritizing that, and then all of a sudden getting shifted into nothingness, basically. Like you're going from really crazy high energy stuff and then you're going to college where it's like, and I also didn't even live in a dorm, which I feel like people should live in a dorm their freshman year. But anyway, I didn't live in a dorm, so I didn't really make many friends. And I knew the girls that I lived with since I was like really young. So there was really nothing new in that regard. And the social life thing is a really big deal for me just because I think making friends in college is very important. And obviously experiences are different for everyone. Not everyone who lives in a dorm is going to make friends, and that's just how life goes. But all I'm saying is going to college freshman year, just like I just had a really hard adjustment period, and I feel like that's not abnormal. Like I feel like a lot of people go through that. But if you're going into college, like just know that it's not all sunshines and rainbows, and it might be for you, like there's always hope. let's not take away the hope from there. But I had a really tough time just adjusting, and I didn't really make many friends. I had like work, and I made like friends in my like work, but it wasn't anything like lifelong type friends, I guess. But I think you mostly get that from experiences and kind of just being around people in college. I think if you live in a dorm, I personally think it's a lot easier to make friends if you live in dorms and you're living with somebody random and you don't know them. I don't know, but literally everybody has a different college experience, and it's so completely tailored to you and where you live and the kind of college that you're at. If you're at a university, if you're at private, whatever, what kind of major you're in, if you're in a really intense, high, education level major, you're going to be more studying and whatever. So everything's different. But for me, it was just not, I think, what I thought it was going to be. Not all it's cracked up to be. Let's just say that. So I just think that a lot of us could benefit from having some sort of like outlet and like comfortable outlet to where we can just like come back to here and just like discuss our feelings about life. And being in your 20s is like, I hear it's one of the hardest positions to be in life in general, just because, we grow up doing a standard. We grow up knowing exactly what we're going to do tomorrow, exactly how our life is going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. We go from elementary school to middle school to high school to college. If you didn't go to college, you go to work, you go to trade school, whatever your life turns out to be, whatever your ambitions and aspirations are. Obviously, it's different for everybody, but if you're in college, that's how it was. We learn, we educate ourselves, and it's so incredibly important, obviously, to do all of that. I think it's so necessary to learn and be educated. But we grow up in just constant knowing, constant being aware of what the next year has in store, what the next few months have in store. And at this point, people, I work as a server in a restaurant, and people who come in, regulars, I get regulars all the time. People come in every single day at this job. Crazy. I don't know. But sometimes I see the same people over and over again, and they start to ask you about your life, and that's my least favorite thing probably about serving. Well, one of them, is that once people see you multiple times, they start to ask about you and like your life. And, I like to talk to people, but the only thing that I think people know how to talk about is college, especially if you're in college, and your major and why you chose that major and are you graduating soon, whatever. And it's a really easy talking point, and I get it. Trust me. It's really easy to talk about school and education because I know exactly how easy it is. And we just use it as humans, just kind of like as a immediate gravitational conversation topic, right? So I get it. But when you are in a position where you're not doing something that's like super cool to talk about, or like you're super passionate about it, it's like so draining to have to answer that question. And it's kind of embarrassing sometimes. I mean, I'm very sure of myself and like what I want to be doing, kind of, but also I'm very unsure at the same time. And it's kind of hard for me to relate to some people because sometimes older people will be like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, what do you mean you don't know what you're doing? And sometimes I get really good responses. They're like, yeah, like take some time, go travel, like take time, like don't rush into anything. Because I feel like a lot of the majority of older people were really told to go to college, get your degree, rush into what, like pick a career and do it for the rest of your life and sit there and do it forever because it's stable and it makes sense. That's what the older generations were told. And now we're finally kind of coming out of that weird societal pressury system where you have to go to college, you have to do this in order to live, in order to succeed. This is what looks good. And that's what my parents did. They didn't have the money for college, so they went to the military and they got college from there. And now my mom's a nurse. Now my mom is a manager of an ER. It's amazing. And my dad has been doing the same job for so long, and my mom has been doing the same job for so long. And it's not like they enjoy it, but it works, And the thing with that is, the reason I think why I'm so confused, and a lot of the responses I hear, especially from my mom, me and my mom have had this conversation a lot, but a major talking point with my mom is, well, if you get a degree and you get a job in something that you don't necessarily enjoy, it can allow you to do the things that you do enjoy, Get a job that you're not passionate about so that you can do the things that you're passionate about outside of the job. But then I'm sitting here like, I feel like I take my job so seriously. Like, I don't know why. I'm just the kind of person that really puts a lot of energy and pressure on my job, and I kind of make it like my life, which I don't enjoy about myself, but also I don't know if there's a way around that. I can't really separate my life from my job. And so the thing with that is like, maybe that's something that I just need to like get over and like cross over and go through. But also I kind of feel like that's just something in me. I feel like that's just a part of who I am. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. But then if I start to think that way, that what I just said about my mom, that my job can just be like a stepping stone, then I start feeling like, well, I don't want to do that then. Like I don't want to do a job that just lets me do what I want 2 days out of the week. That doesn't sound very fun. That doesn't sound very fulfilling. And like, that doesn't make me happy. And maybe the goal isn't happiness, but I just want to be peaceful. And I just want to feel peaceful in my life. And if my job is something that I hate, that is not going to make me peaceful. So I think that's a really big internal struggle for me, is to kind of figure out how to balance that. But I also am like, do I need to balance it? Like, is that necessary for me to balance my career and my life? Or can I make it both? Can I be happy, really fulfilled and really passionate and really happy in my career? But also, not everything's going to be perfect and amazing. And whoa, that's amazing. Like, I love my job so much. But maybe I can still have like a really good passionate career that I love, whilst also making that part of my life in a way where like I can travel with it and I can be super like spontaneous with my job and whatever the case may be. I don't know. I feel like if you want something in life, there's a reason why you want it. And if you think about something so much, there's a reason why you're thinking about it. There's a reason why you have the dreams that you have, because you're one of the people that probably can achieve those dreams. And I feel like, I'm not trying to be superstitious or like woo-woo at all, because even if I am, I'm not trying to be right now. So I'm just saying, there's a reason why you think the way you do. And if you find yourself kind of thinking differently than other people, thinking differently than your parents or your friends or the people that you're surrounded by in your college and your job or in your life in general, people that you've been friends with forever, if you think differently than them, there is a reason why. You are here for a reason. And whether that is something big and drastic and life-changing and crazy, or whether that's something small and you're here to help someone or have a child or whatever the case may be, I don't want you to think that the reason why you have certain dreams is external to you, because it's not. It's not. And if you see yourself and if you see, we can call it daydreaming or we can call it visualizing. I don't think daydreaming is really real unless I'm like going to bed at night and I'm like, ooh, like that man's so fine. Like, let me dream about him. Like that's what I think of daydreaming as. But at this point in my life, I'm like almost 22. I'm like, let me be serious. And now I'm thinking everything is just visualization, you know, like if I think about myself in this career that I want to do, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's me, like that's me visualizing, right? But if we're all just sitting here and we're like, wow, I like don't like this position that I'm in at my job, or I don't like the friends that I have, or you know, whatever it is, and you think about something different or something better, or let's say you've been thinking about starting a business, or you've been thinking about starting a podcast, or you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, anything in the creative spectrum especially, I think we need to make sure that you eventually get the encouragement. That was the wrong word. I need to make sure that we eventually get the courage to start that dream. And whether it's small steps, whether it's a big step like buying a camera, I think we need to take our dreams seriously, because there's a reason, like I said, why we have those dreams and why we think we can do certain things. And obviously confidence is a factor. You know, we need to go through certain things in order to feel a little bit more confident in ourselves and the ability to complete something. So what I encourage you to do is, if you're trying to figure it out just like me, and if you're in a position where you're very confused and you're like, I have so many creative dreams and blah, 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 but I'm stuck in this tiresome, terrible job, and I just don't want to do this anymore, and I'm such a creative person, and you know, I want to do so many cool artistic things, and maybe not even artistic, maybe just like a different job, like you want to step forward and change your life in some way. This is how you're going to change your life. You're going to create a list of things that make you undeniably true to who you say you are. Now, this is very heavy. I feel like you don't want to lie, right? You don't want to sit here and have conversations with people like, oh yeah, like I'm going to do this next month, and I'm going to travel here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be this person, and I am going to go try this coffee shop tomorrow, and I'm going to do all these things in the next 5 years, and I'm going to meet this man and this woman and whatever. You do not want to lie or beat around the bush, right? And in order to do that is to not lie. And in order to not lie is to do the things that we say that we're going to do. I know a lot of people that are just talk, and they're just talking about all the things that they want to do and want to achieve and want to be somebody that they're not, right? And that means that we're also living in a state of lack. We're just constantly thinking about what we don't have, who we're not, who we can't be right now. But you can be those things. You can. I am telling you right now that you can be that person that you want to be. And whether it's somebody that you're idolizing, that you're really like inspired by, somebody that you think that you can be yourself, like you're envisioning literally you in a different state, in a different form of yourself, that is possible. Why do you think you want to do that so bad? Why do you think you're sitting here like, dang, like I really want to be that person? Why? Really dive deep into why you want to do that, why you want to be that person, why you want to have their career, why you want to look like them. Or why do you want to be that version of you so bad? What is making you want to do that so bad? Right? So this is how you're going to change your life. You're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. Commit. You're going to sit here and you're going to be consistent, and you're going to commit to yourself. Committing time and energy and effort into yourself, not a man, not a girl, not anybody who doesn't deserve all that you are, not an experience, not a job, not anything like that, right? And obviously there's different factors, like if you have a child, if you have a husband, if you have a wife, if you have a spouse, whatever. But if you don't, I'm in a position where I don't have a child, I don't have an animal to take care of, I don't have a spouse, I don't have anything of that sort. Nothing relies on me. Nobody, right? Except for maybe my friends to pay rent. But what I'm saying, if you're in a position where you're so free that it's scary, create time and energy and effort to get to know yourself. You could take out a journal. You could talk to yourself like I'm doing right now. You could listen to podcasts. You can listen to videos and really sit with yourself and think, wow, why do I think that way? Like, why is my perspective like this on this subject? Start journaling about random topics throughout the week. Really get to know who you are deep down, what your values are, what your morals are, why you think a certain way. And also, another thing is to complete the things that you want to do, right? Like I said before. So if you're sitting here saying like, wow, I really want to run a half marathon by the end of the year. What are you doing telling me that? I don't care. Get up off your butt, go outside and run. Dang, I really want to go to Disney World this year. I really want to make an effort to go to Disney. All right, go to work. Take $50 out of your paycheck every week or month and go do it. Don't tell me. Like, okay, Or if you're saying something like, wow, I really want to lose 50 pounds by 2026. Cool. Love that for you, girl. Go do it. What am I going to say? Yes, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, yeah, you're going to look so much better. What are you looking for? Validation? Also, if you don't do that, I'm going to be like, wow, she didn't fulfill that. I mean, what are you doing just like talking about it? Go do it. Go do it. Go lose that weight, girl. Like at this point, at our big age, I'm almost 22. I don't want to feel like a big age, but I feel like it sometimes. But at this point, I feel like a lot of time is spent thinking and pondering what we're supposed to be doing with our life, right? So many things sound appealing to me as well, which is a whole nother topic. But if you really want to change your life and you have ideas of how you want to fulfill that and how you want to fulfill certain things for yourself, make time for yourself and go shopping or whatever it is, however you want to do that, however you want your life to look, do the steps in order to get your life that way. If you want to get more money, if you want to be rich, whatever that may look like to you, sit down with yourself and say, okay, how can I achieve this? How can I save more money? Maybe you can't leave your job, and that's totally valid. But how can I sit here and save more money? What am I spending unnecessary money on? And I need to do that with myself because I'll be spending so much money, but what am I spending too much money on that I don't need to be spending money on right now? It's spring, not a lot's going on right now. Spring break just happened. Okay, how can I sit down and hunker down and really make time before summer worth it and make some extra money, save some extra money, whatever it is. Am I eating out too much? All that stuff. Another thing that a lot of people want to change, especially with the new year that just happened, is they want to lose weight. And that's a big one. And I actually lost 50 pounds in a year. And I can tell you exactly how I did that in another episode. But what I will say is the only way that something's going to happen is if you do it. That's why the Nike symbol reference is just do it, because literally just do it. Just. It's that simple. It's that simple. You just got to get up, decide, I don't want to look like this anymore, or I don't want to feel like this anymore. Some people could be super unhealthy and look great. They could look like what we think looks great, as a society at least. And they feel disgusting. They feel so unhealthy. So it's all about perception as well. If you feel great and you feel like such an amazing, perfect version of yourself, that's all I want for you. And maybe losing weight isn't what's going to get you there, but if you do want to lose weight, or you do want to feel better about yourself in general, you need to get up, you need to make decisions about your life that's going to benefit you tomorrow. The whole saying things like, okay, yeah, I'll just do that tomorrow, or yeah, that's a future me problem. And I'm totally the one to say that. But as I've learned, is that in order to feel better about myself, I need to make myself proud. And in order to make myself proud, tomorrow's me is going to be so glad that I didn't mess up the day before. Not mess up, but not fulfill what I said I was going to fulfill the day before. And that's how you're going to change your life. Create a list of undeniable truths about yourself that prove you are who you say you are. If you don't already follow Higher Up Wellness on TikTok, you need to follow that man. Also, Mel Robbins is a great person to look at and to be inspired by. She has a lot of great mentality perspectives on things. So does Higher Up Wellness as well. You are completely and utterly capable of doing whatever you want. Literally whatever you want. You just need, once you feel inspired, read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Once you feel inspired by something, or inspired by the idea of something, or you're like, wow, my soul is really telling me to do this for some reason. Like, I can't stop thinking about this one thing. Like, I've been thinking about it for months, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I know that that's so common, because when we feel like something is right, when we feel like something should be happening, that makes us not want to do it because we don't know what the outcome is. And when you don't want to know what the outcome is, it's so freaking scary, right? And when something's scary, nobody's going to do it. Why would I do that if I don't know what's going to happen? That's scary. I don't want to put myself in an unstable position. But also, if we look at something from a positive perspective, or not even positive, but just from a different outlook. Like, yeah, maybe I don't know, but that's the beauty about it. Like this time in my life, I don't know what's going on, but maybe I can see that as a positive. Like, I love that. I love not being tied to anything. I love not being held down by a partner or a job or a career or a child or a dog or a cat or whatever the case may be. I love the freedom that I have, and I'm so grateful that literally I could do anything that I wanted. I could go anywhere that I wanted. And obviously that's scary, but at this point, I think I just need to appreciate that about this time period in my life and just really sit with it and just think. And if you're a creative person, and if you're into creativity in general and artistic things, like what I'm doing right now, like I'm trying to really do what my soul is calling me to do. And I feel like communication is just a really strong suit of mine, a really strong quality that I have. And in order for me to best communicate, I feel like to the world, is by like a podcast or like something cool like this. So please follow what your soul is telling you to do. And if you feel called to anything, there's a reason why you feel called to that thing in the first place. So fulfill it. I know it takes time, and I know it takes so much energy to like sit down and actually do this. And that's why it took me, I feel like, so long to actually film a good podcast episode, because I'm really trying to figure out my setup, and like I wanted to kind of be in my bed to make it more like, and if you're not watching on video, I'm in my bed right now, but I wanted it to be more of like a cutesy, comfortable vibe, because I want this to be something that we can come back to and that we can rewatch, and also like a little bit of a time capsule, because today is the 21st of March. And I cannot believe that I'm turning 22 in a few days, April 1st. I don't want to have another crisis again, because like I said earlier, last year I had such a crazy mentee bee. about turning 21. And obviously nothing's bad about that because I'm still so incredibly young, but I also feel so incredibly old. And I don't want to feel like my life is slipping away, and I don't want to feel like I'm wasting these years not doing the things that I want to be doing. And that's also a reason why I did the podcast, or why I want to start it so bad, is because I don't want to waste another year, not waste, but I don't want to spend another year sitting and thinking, sitting and thinking about what I could be doing, or what I'd rather be doing, or where I'd rather be living, or who I'd rather be. Because I don't want to live in a state of lack anymore, dude. Like, I'm sick of this feeling of like unfulfillment or like unsatisfaction. Not unsatisfaction, dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. I'm sick of not being satisfied and feeling unfulfilled. I don't want to feel that way anymore. And I don't want to feel like I'm not lazy, I guess. Like, I feel so lazy sometimes, even though I literally wake up at like 7 a.m. and work out and like do so many things. And like I do school and I'm a full-time 5-class college student. I still feel lazy. And I don't know why. Like, the only thing that I can think of and that I'm pushing down, like I don't want to start because I'm scared, is this podcast. And this is me doing something that I'm scared of and really putting myself out there. So anyway, thank you so much for listening or watching, because this is very vulnerable, but also I feel like this is so me. Like, this is totally something I would do. So just because I feel like I'm becoming more of an outgoing communicator, I don't know, this is like a whole nother thing, but I don't want to bore you guys to death. I love this, and I feel like this is going to be really cool. So anyway, I hope you got some sort of fulfillment out of that, and I hope that some of it made sense to you and I wasn't just blabbering on about nothing. But I love a community, and I love creating like peaceful, comfortable communities, and I feel like this is something that could really flourish and really look so cool like in a few months. And I hope that I can be some sort of help to anybody who might need like some sort of guidance or some sort of feeling okay. I just want to help people feel okay in where they are. And right now, I'm very confused with my life, and I want to do something that helps me feel a little bit more certain, and a little bit like a therapy sesh, I feel like is what we're having here. So yes, thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this was kind of cool and entertaining. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.